forsaken. Gather us in, the blind and the lame.
All right, let's do this. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to an edition of the You Farmer Cigar Garage Talks special episode. That's right, folks. As the title says, I have some wonderful news to share with everyone. Super excited and a bit of a rant. What are we smoking? What are we drinking, though? Since this is such a special occasion. From the Downtown Lansing Smoke Club, one of their cigars, they do these cool bi-wrapper. So it starts off nice and smooth, and you hit that Maduro wrapper. Very nice cigar. I've not been able to get back down to that cigar shop in months now, actually. It's been six or 9 months. But this seemed the perfect time to smoke this cigar. For the drink, since we're celebrating, Hitman Rum, 47%. It maturated from October, and it was bottled early February. It's still February. That's okay, though. We're going to bust this open because we are celebrating, folks. What are we celebrating? That's right. We're celebrating the birth of my child. Number 7, 6 plus 1. 6 plus 1, ladies and gentlemen. Number 7. Cheers. That was a good choice. I promise next week's video, I keep dropping all these hints about this freestyle live. I will post that video's been shot, been recorded. But there keeps being stuff that just comes out that's more important and I need to talk about. This is one of them. We now have our 7th child, a healthy, bouncing baby boy. Homeschool Mommy is doing great. Everyone's super excited. We're absolutely loving the new addition to our family. No gamer tag yet, sorry. He'll just be the baby boy on these videos until we get him his own gamer tag. It's the same with the other 2 younger ones. They're not old enough to have gamer tags yet, so I just call them my youngest boy and youngest girl. So there's youngest boy, youngest girl, and baby boy. Super complex, I know. Super excited. I had Homeschooling Mama on here, talked about being pregnant, the pregnancy. Again, it was totally unplanned. We did not expect to have another child join our family. But we love life. Absolutely love life, respect life. You know, there was no other option in our minds but to welcome another addition into our family. And he's precious. He's wonderful. He came, delivery was pretty quick. Homeschooling Mama's water broke at 1 a.m. And he was born, I believe, at 9:45. So quick. Luckily, so a little deep dive. Homeschooling Mama, the last 2 children we had, both my youngest boy and my youngest girl, there were a lot of complications. She needed blood transfusions. With my youngest boy, she needed multiple emergent transfusions. With the baby girl, she needed not as many, but still needed transfusions, even though they hit her with a bunch of meds. This time, thankfully, we had a doctor who worked down in Detroit, and I think that's what saved her. Because this doctor hit, what a proverbial killed the fly with a hatchet, with a hand grenade. Multiple medications went in, very thorough exams, both chemical treatments, physical treatments, everything. We hit her with everything. So much so that Homeschooling Mama is doing great. She did not need a blood transfusion. I'm eternally grateful to this doctor. This doctor was on point. And it probably helps that she worked in downtown Detroit, inner city, If you guys don't know, individuals who are African American of descent have a higher risk of infant mortality, and also paternal mortality, where the mom and baby end up dying. So when you have a large community, you need to be very on point with your treatments. There's lots of considerations when it comes to that, lots of things to take into effect and factor in. But the truth of it is, if you are of African American descent, your chance of having infant mortality or even your own mortality while delivering is very high. So because this woman is from that area, treated a lot of patients, I do believe she treated Homeschooling Mama more aggressively than a doctor from another area. Even this local doctor, I don't think, would have treated Homeschooling Mama as aggressively, and we might have had adverse consequences because of it. So I'm eternally grateful. Yes, I will be sending her a care package and a nice recommendation and letter because watching her work was amazing. Her skills, her talents, just absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, I can tell you right now that if she wasn't on duty, Homeschooling Mama at bare minimum would have needed blood transfusions. I fear things might not have turned out that well in the worst case scenarios. So thank you very much. And thank you, by the way, everyone. There's a lot of my viewers who've been sending me congratulations. Thank you very much. I'm glad I can get this video out. Luckily, baby boy is, well, okay, unluckily he's up all night, but he's sleeping a lot during the day. That's fine. We've had many a children who have done this. We know the routine. We know, you eat, sleep, and shit when you can. Prioritize sleep over all other things. And rely on stimulants, right? Coffee. Little tricky. I gave up pop during this Lenten season. I'm going to stick to that. I'm not going to do any pop. I'm just going to do some coffee. And even the coffee I'm cutting back on. The other stimulants is just a lot of water and prayer, which keeps me going. So very excited. Again, thank you very much for everyone who sent their congratulations. Deeply appreciate it. I'm so glad I have a loving community and a very supportive community. Just so everyone knows, those of you who are watching this video, yes, I will reach out if we need anything. I'm not so humble as to have my family be adversely affected to protect my pride. If I do need something, I will definitely reach out. Many of you have offered to make meals or send us meals and stuff. Again, thank you very much. I may take you up on it. Right now, before this one was born, we did actually make a ton of freeze-dried meals. We made a ton of frozen meals. And for the first time ever, I get legit paternity leave. I get 12 weeks. So 12 weeks to kick around, help take care of baby bro and the fam. I'm absolutely on cloud nine. Just amazing. Really excited. I'm excited to have a seventh child. Sure, the fact that he probably won't move out until I'm 60 is a bit foreboding. So you know what that means. Homeschooling daddy here, or Uper farmer here, I got to start getting back into fight shape, right? I got to start taking my health a little more seriously. It definitely waned and laxed quite a bit in the last 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, let's be honest. Ever since I got off the ambulance, I've let myself kind of go. Gained some pudge around the middle, lost some muscle mass, but I want to be around to see my youngest son leave the house. I want to be around to see him get married, and hopefully even be around to see him pop out a grandbaby or two. So I've got to get serious about my health, and I'm starting to do that. I've been exercising actually for 2 solid months now. Exercising pretty much every day. I do take the occasional Saturday or Sunday off to really let my muscles recover. I don't have the best of knees. Lenten update. This is actually the first drink I've had since Ash Wednesday. It's now Sunday. So I'm keeping up with that. Same with cigars. Only back down to just the one during these videos. If I don't shoot a video, I don't get to smoke a cigar. That's the deal. Didn't even get one to celebrate the night he was born. Wanted one. I wanted both a good stiff drink and a nice cigar, but I told myself it's for him that I need to get healthy, because I need to be there for him. So time to put on my big boy boots. With God's help, I'll be around for a good long time, whether I want to or not. There's the praises. Again, wonderful doctor. I am so grateful. Nothing against the doctor we were seeing. Our doctor actually went on vacation. So this doctor is in as kind of a fill-in basis. We were kind of hoping, kind of built a rapport with our doctor. But honestly, I'm glad Homeschooling Mama went early and we did not get the doctor we were originally seeing. That we got this out-of-town doctor, because amazing. Absolutely amazing skills. Very impressed. Her medical demeanor, her knowledge. Again, her wanting to hit this problem with a hand grenade instead of fly swatter. Absolutely thrilled. Again, talked about it many times. God was definitely watching out for us and ensuring that Homeschooling Mama got every afforded opportunity she could to have the best outcome. I firmly believe that. And I'll fight anyone who says differently. So, I do thank God. We prayed quite a bit. And I thank the doctor. Like I said, I'll be sending her a little care package and a little recommendation and a thank you she can put in her file. Now on to the rant. So, I'm not going to name drop the hospital we were at, but we had some troubles with the nurses. And now, don't get me wrong, I am not one of those medics who hates nurses. I have many friends who are nurses. I looked into going to the nursing program, even started taking a couple of nursing courses. But I quickly realized that being in facility wasn't really for me. Maybe now that I'm a little bit older, get my nursing to go in facility. I do know quite a few medics who switched over and now nurses. And they absolutely swear by it. My critiques kind of come in one. I do know going into this that the OB department we delivered at had a bit of a shakeup. They had a bit of a, how do you put it? Some people left, some people stayed. Some people who left, it's a good thing they left. Some people who stayed, it's a bad thing they stayed. They got in a lot of new nurses. We could definitely tell that. A lot of skittish nurses. And one of the things that happened during the night, out comes the nurse cackle. Now, if any of you guys have worked around healthcare, or been in hospitals a lot, you may notice the sound. Nurses have this high-pitched laugh, which means they're all showing some TikTok video or some trend or whatnot, and they're laughing. And that laugh calls in all the other nurses. And what unfortunately happens is that patients get neglected. And I tested this theory. I pressed the call button. It took our nurse a second. Now, granted, we really did need something. She quickly resolved the problem as best she could and then took off, and I heard her join the cackle. Now, I am not saying one bit that you should not be able to let loose and get a good laugh, a good joke in healthcare. You need that. Absolutely 100% need that. But one, don't do it in earshot of your patients. The circular desk, not a good place to be sharing these funny videos. Not a great place to be shopping for shoes when I can see your screen, or to be on your phone. I really get mad when I see stuff like that, and then I read blogs or posts or stuff from nurses saying how overworked they are and underappreciated they are. Again, it's a hard job. It's just like being a paramedic. It's very taxing. You need that mental break. But I also know that if you have time to laugh and joke and it can be at the detriment of your patient where you're not taking care of your patients as much, that's not appropriate. As a healthcare provider, if you having to run out to look at a TikTok video or to make one, I'm not okay with that. And yes, this job is hard. And a lot of people say, well, look, you talk about the pranks you'd pull at the station, or playing video game playing video game tournaments and watching marathons, and yep, that stuff happened, no doubt, 110%. That happened, but at that time we did not have patients in our queue. At that time, patients were in earshot. It's not like I'm playing video games on my phone while doing a patient transfer. That never happened. I would not be laughing and sitting up front and joking with my partner. No, that did happen. We would have some of the medics who'd crawl up front when the patient was stable on long transfers, joke with their partner, maybe watch a video or something. Check this out. 100%, I am against that. If any medic does that, that is horrifying. You need to be zeroed in on your patient. Now, I get it when you have someone for 12-hour shift, especially labor and delivery, they're there for your whole shift. You need a break, and I'm totally cool with that. I'm totally cool with that break. But two things: one, don't do it in earshot of the patients. It's horribly unprofessional where we can hear that cackling or hear your conversation. You're not quiet. I'm sorry, nurses, you ain't quiet. We can hear you. Yeah, I know your boyfriend is thinking about dumping you, all right? I heard that conversation very loud and clear. I'm not 100% sure that he was wrong for wanting to dump you after hearing your summary of his side of the story. Sorry. And next, if it is actually chewing into your patient care time, that's unacceptable. Don't rush out of a patient's room because you want to be a part of that TikTok video you're going to make, or watch that funny short, or whatever the reason is you're cackling. It's a specific sound that nurses make, male or female, doesn't matter. They make a specific laugh when they're doing something other than patient care. And again, that's fine. Go to the break room. Definitely make sure you're not neglecting your patients. That should be your first and foremost, most important thing you'll ever do. Make sure your patient's well taken care of. And you want to go laugh at something you saw online? Hey, power to you. But yeah, don't neglect your patients. And yeah, so that was fun. The nursing cackle. Now, granted, those nurses were very nice on that night shift. I have no hate on them. They were actually one of the few nurses who, when I said, I don't leave the room unless if my wife or my child doesn't leave the room unless I'm with them. So, okay, cool. They were very good with that. The day shift nurses were not. They kept trying to sneak my wife or my child out of my sight, and that's not how I roll. I know that's my child because that child has never left my sight since from the time he popped out of mama until the time we put him in the car seat. I keep eyes on my child. I don't trust people. Sorry. My bad. We had some other problems with day shift nurses. One, this is kind of also towards the hospital. So babies have these baby alert tags. You put them on, and they're never supposed to be removed. Well, the nurse had to get a blood pressure on the leg, so she kind of showed me how I could even remove my own son's tag. And she never put it back on. And the system, when it reset, set off an alarm saying my kid was kidnapped, initiating a lockdown at the hospital. Now, she had told us, now maybe she's lying, maybe she doesn't know. She had said that if we take that tag off or take the baby outside this fenced-in area, that everything would lock down and you can't leave, no one can come in. It's 110% lockdown system. Well, we got to see the lockdown. I was able to freely go in and out of the OB ward. I was also able to freely go in and out of the hospital. So that's a lie. Yeah, it sounded an alarm. That's great, but no one's locked down. No one's locked in. Don't lie to your patient. If that's not what the system does, don't tell them that's what it does. Be honest with them. There's nothing worse than giving a parent false hope that this, this system will do more than you're telling it it'll do, because that's not what happened. Also, on that note, remember I'm the father. I'm a father of 6 kids, now 7. I kind of know what's best for my children. I know you think you do, which is great. But believe me when I tell you what the plan is actually going to be. I did have one nurse kind of getting a little uproar with me because I wanted to be there when they did his physical exam, hearing exam, and blood work. She's like, well, you're not allowed in the back. I'm like, well, then you're not allowed to have my child. She tried to say something about hospital policy, but spoiler alert, state law trumps all hospital policies. I still, as the parent, have right over my child. And the only way you can take away that right is to go talk to a judge. Good luck. It's Saturday. I bet that judge would be more than happy to fill in your request for a person who just wants to be there to see my son get poked and prodded. But, hun, you do you. I guess I have to admit, I hold healthcare professionals to a higher standard. Because I live that world. I was in that world. And I do believe that if you're going to be a healthcare professional, you need to strive to greatness in that field or get out. Me almost having to start my wife's IV again, not great. Not great, going to be honest with you. I was not thrilled at that prospect again. Having to do some of my wife's, care, not great. Not great. I shouldn't be put in a position where I have to, introduce my training and knowledge. Instead, I should be shocked and awed by your training and knowledge. Didn't happen this time. Even one of the nurses almost OD'd my wife on pain meds. She was getting very upset. Well, I need to give your wife this much pain meds. And I said, well, she's short. She's small. By weight guidelines, no, you're way over. Because you don't go with the weight of the pregnancy. You actually go pre-pregnancy weight because that's their metabolic rate to deal with it. The dose you're giving includes the baby and the amniotic fluid. That's an overdose. Not to mention, the first dose you gave her almost snowed her, and that was a half dose. I get it. They're not used to anyone bucking their authority. They can walk around that unit and say, well, I'm an OB nurse. I know what's best for your wife. You don't. I'm not saying any of the women there they were all female nurses. Any of the nurses there were vindictive or had ulterior motives. But let's just say, as dad, especially a medically trained dad who teaches other medical professionals, I might know more, or at least I might have a better picture of what's going on. Also, on that note, if you're getting a new doctor, run a fake delivery. They're kind of fun. This new doctor from Detroit, this was her first baby she delivered, apparently, with the nurses who were on duty. So they brought her none of the supplies she needed, which, by the way, your sterile fields, hun, beautiful. Oh, infection control, loved it. Sterile fields, awesome. Now, granted, some of the supplies the nurses were running around like they're chickens with their heads cut off. I would love to come back down to Detroit. I don't think she's moving here. I think she's just kind of a temp doc. I would love nothing more than come to Detroit and watch her deliver a baby in her preferred setting with her preferred staff. This staff even said this is the first time they delivered a baby with her, which is horrifying. Do a simulated delivery. So this doctor and this nursing team can get used to each other, because it does take a little bit, don't get me wrong. You get a new partner, you get a new nurse, a new doctor, a new paramedic. You're going to have to learn how they prefer things and what they do. But the fact that one person had to run to Central Supplies to pick up a piece of equipment that this doctor needed, boy, oh boy, that did not give me confidence. Luckily, the doctor was able to pivot, which is a sign of a great healthcare professional. If they're able to pivot, okay, I don't have what I need, but I can deal with what I've got. And she said that more than once. So again, nurses, if there's a new doc who comes in, ask them to maybe run a code. Hey, can we run a code? See how you run a code versus how we do it? Let's do a mock delivery. So we can see how you deliver a baby, and we'll show you our setup. There's nothing wrong with that. Go back to basics. It was interesting. Again, the nurses weren't incompetent, but I was not impressed with their competency. The nurses were not malicious. I've had malicious nurses, but they were not exactly, how shall we say, super helpful. And there were some who were pretty nice. There's some who were pretty competent, but we had nurses who we'd request like simple things, a cup of coffee, a patient belonging bag, and we'd have to request them. Be your own patient advocate again and again and again, which I'm fine with. I've been patient advocating for 30 years now. Long before I was in EMS, and I'll be long after I'm in EMS, I'll be patient advocating. So that was something. But hey, baby bro is born safely. He's being a little bit of a turd. He's giving mom and dad some trouble. Hopefully he can get with the schedule so we don't have to take him back in and get him looked at. I think he'll be all right, though. Homeschooling Mama is doing great. So, grand scheme of things, was this the worst hospital I've ever delivered a kid at? No. Was it the best? Absolutely not. And one of the nurses, as we're leaving, like, oh, by the way, there's going to be a patient survey that'll be sent to you. You're going to give us high reviews, right? And I'm like, thank you for treating my wife. But you're going to give us high reviews, right? I am not going to give them bad reviews, but I will not be singing their praises on this survey. I may actually be giving them some critiques, some areas for improvement, some things to consider, shall we say. Anyway, this video is getting long. A couple guys have been complaining about the length of these videos. I get it. Sorry, this is a special edition. I promise you we'll be back. Sub 15-minute videos. I'm just super excited. I wanted to share with you guys the joy of having children. Have a bunch. Have a ton. The more kids you have, the easier it gets. If you're meant to have children, God will provide. Put your faith in Him. I will admit, it's not the easiest thing for me. My wife, on the other hand, she can surrender herself to God and just say He'll take care of us. And I envy her for that. But don't wait. Don't hold back. Have a kid. Have 2. Have 4. Don't stop at 3. 3 is the worst number. I think I have a whole video on that. If not, maybe that one's coming up here soon. We'll talk about why you should never have just 3 kids. But yeah, don't wait. Have kids. Have the adventure that they bring. Anyway, folks, I'm rambling now. I get that. We're at almost 30 minutes here. Cheers. Thank you for all the support from you guys. Awesome. Absolutely love it. Please stay safe out there. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you on the next one.